Hello everyone, my name is Vi Evergreen and today we are going to be playing Lockdown Protocol. If you don't already know what Lockdown Protocol is, it is essentially like Among Us but in 3D. So, like in Among Us, there are two, an employee and a dissident. The employees have to finish tasks shown on this monitor, which I will also be giving tutorials about, and dissidents have to sabotage the tasks or kill some of the employees so that way they can win the game. Now, I've already made a video covering 3 out of the 8 different tasks found in the game, so today I will be focusing on 3 other tasks, and hopefully I will be doing the last 2 with a friend. Alright, so let's get started. Alright, so first we need to look, and it's pressure. Alright, so what you're going to need to do is first go into this room, which is the storage room, and you need to collect little canisters like these. These are called Gaz Bottles, and they will basically be very helpful when dealing with this task. So as you can see, I'm in the machine room, and I just placed one of the gas bottles onto the pressurizer. So what we will need is all 8, and they come in 3 different colors. I'll show you all the 3 different colors in a moment. I like to do that because it's quicker, especially since I'm the only one for this tutorial. So, as you can see, there are 3 different colors. There's the yellow, or 1, which is the lowest, red, or 2, the middle, and blue, or 3, the highest. So with each of these, you will need to produce a small amount of gas pressure in order to fill these up. Now, if you do it correctly, it will seamlessly go without a hitch, but there are also some times when a gas bottle is not in the right place, or you ended up needing to replace it with a different one, thus confusing everything all at once. But I will show you a little trick I've learned once we get it. So, we have everything all lined up. We have a red and 3 yellows. So now we go over here and press this blue button. Now before we do, you want to make sure that you do not stand within line of sight. So if you can see the gas cans, you're in danger. So it's best if you stay right here because you can't automatically see it. So you can do this one of 2 ways. You can either do it once and see where it goes. See, that one already blew up. So a little trick I've learned is if the yellow gas bottle explodes on the first line, then that means it's a blue. But if it explodes on the second one, like so, if it explodes on the second one, then it's a red. So let's try something out really quick. Grab this red and put it over there and switch it around. Sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't, so it just depends. And that worked. So let's go ahead and place the rest over here. And the order does not matter when you first do this, it just matters after the first or second explosion, because that's where it'll tell you where everything should go. So if you have a friend, they can observe from the side over there to see if it'll flash red, because as you've noticed, it started blinking red, and usually that gives a little warning. But I don't have any friends, if you can tell. Well, on at the moment. And we're done. Easy as pie. So for this pressure task, just remember that if a yellow gas bottle explodes on the first one, or the first line, then it's automatically a blue. But if it explodes on the second line, then it's a red. And it just works in tandem with all of that as well. So, since we already did that, let's go ahead and get started with the next task. Alright, this next one is computers. So instead of running all the way around, we just need to go to one of these two offices. So the computers look like these, and if it's one that we need to assign, it'll have a little dialogue on here. Since it doesn't, we don't need to focus on that. You see, like this one says ready to send file to different location. There will be 3 locations depending on what you have the setting on. So it's successfully sent. Now, before we continue, let me show you what happens if someone tries to sabotage or if you press the wrong button. So, as you can see, it says press Y, this blue button, to verify file, or press N, this yellow button, to fail the task. Now, if someone is sabotaging, they will immediately want to press this button. So, let's just see what that will look like. You can see it popped up in red saying that the file failed to be verified. So now we just need to go straight back. And it'll even pop up right here. Error notified on file by location. So we can try again, and sometimes it'll even pop up this error message, which means that it did not send. So all you need is a little patience and to continuously press the blue button and it'll resend. There are some times where it fails even if you manage to successfully verify. So this just shows when it successfully verified. So now we need to go all the way back to that second computer. We give it as Office 1 and Office 2. And that one's finished. So now, as you can see, this was only 2 offices, but rest assured, there are a few more down this way. There's Office 3, Office 4, and Office 5. So let's go ahead and check Office 3. No dialogue whatsoever. Now, Office 4, this has dialogue. We're ready to send file to location. Press Y to send file. And the error occurred, which is fine. Alright. I'm really hoping that I can show the file failing even with the blue button, because I've seen it happen before. And not just immediately from the yellow button, which automatically fails it, but there have been some instances in which even if you press the blue file in the location, it will sometimes fail that process. So then you have to restart all over again. And this is the last one, and it is sent to the last location we need to go to. You see, that one went off without a hitch. Other times there will be an error that happens spontaneously, or it will just happen over and over again. So we would just need to go here, press the blue button, wait for it to send, and since it successfully verified, we just need to go back and the task will be complete. Press and we're done. Now, I'm sure some of you may have noticed that as soon as I'm done with the task, I label it as off. That's because I just want to make sure that when I do go through the tasks, I'm not repeating some of them that I've done in earlier videos. So let's go ahead and get on with the last task. Alright, and this is vents. So first things first, we will need to go to the storage room, or the orange room, to pick up a screwdriver. Now this will be necessary to unlock vents like these. See, this one's already clean, I don't need to worry about it. So, one way you can tell if it's clean or not is if it has a blue or red bar. So, if it has a red bar, that means it's dirty and needs to be cleaned. But if it has a blue bar, it does not need to be cleaned. Blue bar. Ah, exactly like this. So all you need to do with the screwdriver is click and click. And it automatically pops up. Now sometimes people will leave it like this, or they just won't even bother, which will sometimes look exactly like this when we first started. But most of the time, dissidents, they will take the vent and try to hide it anywhere. So sometimes you just end up with like a missing vent. So I've seen some people hide it over by the little conveyor belts. But anyway, you go over to the machine room and you see this filter washing station. This is where you place the vent. And then you press this blue button and you can either wait for it to clean or you can stand guard, because sometimes people will come in and press the button even when it's going, exactly like I did. Like pause, and then they take it and try to hide it. So you can either do that or you can just leave it be and hope for the best. Me personally, I like to stay with the vent to make sure that it is properly cleaned and taken care of. So now that it's cleaned, we can go back over to where we found it from, in this instance, the hospital, and we can put it back inside of the room. See, now the bar is blue, which means that it is now clean. And the little dot on the side also turned white, which shows that it is complete. Exactly like these. So now we go to find the other one. Sometimes I've noticed this during playthroughs, is when you collect a vent from a specific room, it sometimes does not always go back to that room. What I mean is sometimes people who have already cleaned a vent and have finished it will take it to where you first got the vent, and then you'll have to figure out where the new vent place is supposed to be. I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. So obviously I got it from here, Pizzushi, but we're going to go to the other place where an unclean filter is. If I can find one. And normally this takes a lot of time to go through, especially if they were hiding some. So it's always best to do a very thorough search with the limited amount of time you have, because sometimes people will hide it in like the most bizarre of places, like right here, and obviously as you run by you're not going to see it, and maybe you might see it at the very end, but it just proves my point that sometimes you just pass by it without even realizing it. Sometimes you may not even be looking in that area at all, which is scary, but it happens sometimes. Or other times they will be so well hidden, like over here. you can't really see it from here. You can just see like, oh, it's just there. And then you're just gonna spend your whole time looking around. But over here, this place is a lot cleaner than I would have liked, to be honest. Really quick. You know, I do need 2 more, including this one. Ah, perfect. Okay. So here, I originally got it from here, but I can just quickly take that out, place that one in, and that'll count. So, if you are playing with others who do that specific type of action, because the vents I placed in here was actually from the Pizzushi restaurant, so you would just need to ask around and figure out where this new vent is supposed to go, because sometimes messages aren't really clear, and some people, they might even just do that just to do it out of spite, I guess. I wouldn't really know what would take someone to replace a filter like that. But then you click it and you're done. Alright, I am feeling a bit generous, so let's go ahead and move on to the very last task of the game session. I'm sure some of you have noticed that this one stayed off, even though I have not covered yet. This is because I am nowhere near skilled enough to complete this task without a partner. And, because sometimes you require 2 people to do it, and other times people can just do it by themselves. I am not one of those people to do it by themselves, so let's go ahead and move on to Pizzushi. Now this one is a fun mix of 2 different tasks that you have to put together. First, let's grab this brown bag, which is rice, and we chuck it in there. Now for this one, we will need containers, so let's go ahead and pocket that one. Grab the other bag of rice. This one looks like a fish, and this is actually the black rice, which I know is very disconcerting. So, as you can see, there appear to be no other bags of rice, but I can assure you there are actually 3 bags of rice to choose from. Let me go ahead and toss these inside just to keep them safe. So sometimes you'll see bags inside the storage room, or more often than not, you'll find a rice bag or 2 inside of this restaurant storage. So this black and red bag is actually the white rice, and putting them in, it's easy. You just click, click, and click. Yeah, you'll see that it does say ready to add rice, and it has a glowing green button. What you want to do is press this button as soon as possible, so that way it fills up with rice. So, what we would then need to do is look at these tables with the yellow bars on top. This is orders that you need to get done. So, for this table, we would need brown rice, tuna fish, and B014. And if you remember from my last video, the B stands for blue, so we would need to get the blue flour. So first, let's get the brown rice done. Fill that up. And then grab the tuna fish, which looks exactly like this. Now, it is very easy to drop. It is, after all, called a one-shot item. So we can choose from salmon, tuna, cod, or shrimp. But the specific recipe we're looking at requires tuna fish. So we place the tuna fish like so, We grab this brown rice container and place it here. Now let's go get that blue flour. Actually, there will be some times when an imposter or a dissident intentionally sabotages a pizza, and that will oftentimes look like this. So obviously I needed the blue flour, but I grabbed the yellow flour, and it can even just be the subtlest differences too. Like if I chose a green flour or black rice, because sometimes the differences are so subtle. Or even just changing the fish. Like, let's say instead of tuna, we grabbed cod. And then by the time it's already done, you cannot take it out. Which means that this pizza is already bad. This is a bad pizza. I'll explain the steps a bit more as soon as I'm done showing what it looks like if someone has sabotaged it. So, obviously the light is red, which means that this order is wrong. And unfortunately there is no place to toss it away, so we just toss it to the side. So, let's go ahead and make the correct pizza. First we will need brown rice. Tuna, and a blue flour. So, let's go ahead and rush back to the cleaning room, or the container cleaning room, and clean them both up. It's also helpful to have at least 4 containers, so that way you can have 2 containers for the rice and 2 containers for the flour. So blue flour is our last one to go with. And I will show you all how to do this in just a moment. So, we have all of our ingredients: brown rice, tuna, and a blue flour. So let's just quickly double check. Brown rice, tuna, blue flour. Alright, so what we need to do is first start with this button. This is to place the seasoning button. Obviously, the seasoning is the best for making sushi. So then you'll notice that this has a little rice bowl and a blue button. This is to bake and place the rice onto this to make a little pizza shape. This is obviously the fish area in which it chops up and places the fish. And this is actually what's called toppings or garnish. So, you place the coins in, press the button, and it'll place it as a topping onto this. So this final button is actually the packaging. So we press this blue button, and it'll start to place it down. And now we have our Pizzushi. And that is exactly how it should look with a correct pizza. So the next one, we will need white rice, cod, and the white flour. So let's go ahead and place in our white rice. Pockets out for later, put that to the side. And then I believe it said cod. Yes. So we just need to get cod. Place it inside here as shown. And finally, clean our container to get the white flour, which in my opinion looks more like a mushroom. So, mushroom pizza. A delicacy known to many. And like I said, it is easier to have at least 4, but I could only find 3 at the moment without wasting too much time. So then you grab the white plant and you travel back over to the restaurant and place it here. Now you notice that it's blinking blue. That means it's ready to start for this little item. And when it's flashing orange or yellow, that means it's in process. And when it turns white, that means it's done. So like white and blue, orange and yellow, and white. So, ready to begin? And process. Finished. You just have to remember that when it shows a blinking light on top of it, that's flashing white and blue, that means it's ready to start. And so with that, our final pizza is done, and we can take this all the way back to this particular table. Now remember, like I said, with ruined pizzas, it will automatically show up as red. No pizza has yellow, but a good pizza has blue. And with that, we are done. Alright, thanks you guys so much for watching. I'm so glad that I could have viewers like you. If you like my content, I do plan on making more, especially with the various weapons around. And if you like watching me play video games, come give me a subscribe. And I'll see you all soon. Bye-bye.